Hello everyone, and welcome to Fictional Vortex. So we are back with an interesting series on what if Naruto become a 12th god with power of Amaterasu, the goddess of sun. But before we start, I just want to remind you to please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if you enjoy my content. Let's start the story. The third Hokage was in the middle of doing something that every person that gained the office hated. The dreaded daily paperwork that they all were forced to deal with. A portal opened in front of the third, and the old man moved with a swiftness that few would have believed that he was still capable of as his Anbu guards dropped from their hiding places and landed between the swirling mass and their leader. "What is it?" one of the ninja questioned curiously as no attack seemed to come out of it. "I do not know," the ninja known as the professor admitted to his guards as he examined it. It looked similar to a chakra barrier but lacked the feel of any chakra. Then there was the fact that it was only on one side near his desk. If it had been an attempt to capture him, then it was clearly deficient attack. As quickly as it had formed, the swirling thing spat something out, and then disappeared. The ninja cautiously stepped forward and saw that the thing that had landed in front of them was a young child. The girl appeared to be no older than 4 or 5 and was dressed in an oversized white and red kimono that had a symbol of a sun on the front of the girl's kimono, and she seemed to have a symbol painted on her forehead along with a few red markings under her eyes. "What shall we do with her, Lord Hokage?" one of the Anbu questioned the man curiously. "Take her to interrogation, but tell them to treat the girl gently and that I want someone to oversee her questioning," the old man told them with a warning in his voice that the ninja nodded their understanding to as they disappeared in a blur of speed as they took the girl to be questioned. It was several hours later when a ninja finally returned with a report for the old man. "Well?" he questioned, as he lit his pipe up and looked the ninja over questioning. "The girl has no memory, sir," the ninja returned. "She has a few flashes, and knows things that no one I know of has heard of, but the memories that go along with the knowledge is gone." The ninja explained to the third. "She has highly developed chakra coils, and basic training or knowledge of most of the basics that ninja should have." When the Yamanaka interrogator went into her mind, there was next to no memories, but she's a trove of knowledge once you can get past her defenses, that is. "Defenses?" the third questioned with interest. "I thought that there were no known defenses against the Yamanaka mind jutsus?" "So it was thought, Lord Hokage," the ninja agreed. "However, this girl though has managed to do just that." "I see, and what has the girl told you about herself?" The ninja shook his head at this. "The girl is very confused at that, and has given us the strange name of Okami as her family name, and Amaterasu as her personal name." "I see, and what of her attire?" "Nothing is known about any of the objects that she had on her, sir, nor could we determine where they were manufactured. We have inspected everything on the clothes and compared them to everything in our records. The crest upon her chest and her forehead are like none that are in any of the city archives. The girl also appears to have an unknown Kekkei Genkei." "Is that so?" the old man questioned with interest. "Yes, sir, the girl already has strength levels that are several times stronger than an adult shinobi. Her gymnastic skill already exceeds a trained shinobi. She can stick to walls without using chakra, and she has some sort of ability to sense attacks. It is similar to the Byakugan, except she cannot see the attack, only reacts to attack, and it seems her sense of smell is better than the Inuzuka clan. As I said earlier, she has assorted levels of knowledge. Her reading and writing skills though are odd. She was taught in an unknown language and will need to be taught to read from scrolls." "I see, very well. Put her in the academy when she at the age 4. Now, if her chakra reserves are as high as you say, he could prove to be quite a valuable asset to us," the old man said knowingly. "Have someone keep an eye on her and place her in the orphanage for the time being. Maybe this could be just the sort of thing that Naruto needs. Be sure to have someone keep an eye out for her, though I would rather be cautious with this new girl than to allow her to be too free in her access. If she proves to be safe, then have someone sit and teach her to learn how to read and write." "As you command, Hokage," the Anbu said with a bow before he disappeared. The third sighed and wondered how long it would be before a member of the council decided to come in and demand to know about the girl. From what he had read and what his gut told him, he thought that this girl had great potential if she was merely given the chance to use it. After all of the ninja they had lost over the years, particularly in the last war, and in the battle against the Kyuubi, they needed every ninja that they could to replace those that were lost. He knew that there was a chance that members of the council would try and take control of the girl later on with her potential, particularly with her most unique bloodline. The Inuzuka clan would likely be amongst the first to try and claim the girl due to her sense of smell is better their own. There were others including Danzo that would try and take the girl. He had to be ready for them though. The addition of having a secret or unknown language would appease both Ibiku and Danzo though. Third Pav Amaterasu had quietly kept her distance, from others at least not when she still couldn't protect herself. So she had kept a silent watch on Naruto, playing with him when no one would, passing her leftovers she had saved from her own dinner whenever the adults tried to punish Naruto for whatever small slights he had done to them by not giving him dinner. The last straw was when Amaterasu found a group of 5-year-old bullies ganging up on Naruto who was playing by himself at that time. The matron had taken one look and silently left the room without a backward glance. But Amaterasu didn't miss the thinly veiled satisfaction on her face when she left. The bullies by them had begun to kick and punch the young 4-year-old who had crouched on the floor whimpering. The rest of the toddlers looked at the scene with no little amounts of fear that they would be targeted next. Amaterasu's eyes narrowed. Picking up a play block, she hit one of the boys in the head with a solid thump. "Stop that!" Amaterasu cried out, throwing caution to the wind. Throughout the time she'd been here she had enough of what people are doing to sweet Naruto. Amaterasu had to use little bit of her power, giving her small 3-year-old body packs the power and strength of a 6-year-old. It was also enough to crack the head of one of the bullies with her flying block. Her eyesight had also become sharper, resulting in her unerring accuracy as she began throwing whatever toys she could get her hands on at the bullies. The bullies cried and jumped around to avoid her flying projectiles which hit them with painful thumps. But Amaterasu soon found herself out of toys. She watched in dread as the bruised bullies walked towards her menacingly. She stood up, tiny fist curled into a ball as she prepared to fight. The odds were not good, one little old her and 4 bullies bigger and stronger than her combined. The first bully to reach her raised a fist to strike at her. Amaterasu braced herself to duck and was surprised when a white blurt tackled the bully to the ground. She looked into the serious eyes of Naruto who picked himself up from the bully. He was crying and bruises were on his arms and face but he was determined. "You my friend," Naruto said in his simple language. Amaterasu looked at Naruto in surprise and was a bit touched. Naruto, like most of the toddlers, could only speak. Their thought processes were still immature. Amaterasu was an exception who was looked on by the adults in the orphanage with no small pride at her mastery of the spoken language. Amaterasu reached out a hand and ruffled Naruto's hair. "We fight," she said, knowing that Naruto probably still don't understand what does the word fight means. She launched herself at the bullies and Naruto's face brightened in understanding as he did the same. Their determination did not help them however, not with 4 who were stronger than them. By the time the matron returned, Naruto had a black eye and more bruises while Amaterasu had a split lip and several bruises as well. The 4 bullies however had fared no better, most with bruises on their bodies. Amaterasu stood protectively over Naruto as the matron neared. For a moment the matron looked at their battered forms and a flicker of emotion passed across her face. Guilt, confusion and a bit of self-loathing. She had said nothing however as she rounded up the injured children and began treating their wounds. That incident however caused a change in the way the matron treated Naruto. She no longer gave him cold stares or disgusted look, but she avoided him for the most part as if he was a bad memory to be forgotten. The bullies also stopped bothering Amaterasu and Naruto. And that's how the friendship between Naruto and Amaterasu began. 2 months later, Amaterasu looked on with interest at the old man who had come to visit Naruto. Out of all the adults, he was the only one that had treated Naruto with love and concern. She had seen him a few times at the orphanage before that but this was the first time she had taken note of the man. All the adults at the orphanage also treated the old man with respect calling him Hoka age something. It was one word that she still could not understand. Amaterasu watched quietly to make sure that the old man would not ill-treat Naruto before resuming her drawing. When the matron had introduced them to pencil and paper, Amaterasu had jumped at the chance of doing something artistic again. She had proceeded to draw people and things she remembered from the past of her life she can't seem to remember. The adults in particular had exclaimed at her detailed and well-drawn drawings, naming her a young prodigy. Amaterasu didn't mind. She hoped that the adults would gradually allow her to read the books and scrolls in the orphanage's library. "That's a very nice picture, though a very scary dragon," a voice said behind her. Amaterasu turned and grinned at the old man who had wandered over. Naruto was at his side clutching the old man's hand. "It's Orochi, the eight-headed demonic serpent of massive size," Amaterasu said. She had drawn Orochi, though she can't remember seeing Orochi before. "Oh, an eight-headed demonic dragon serpent, what I can tell from the picture," the old man mused. "I love drawing," Amaterasu said with a shrug. "I want to read too, but the matron wouldn't let me." The old man stared into her eyes and then smiled. "Ah. A child eager for knowledge, that's rare. I'll speak with the matron for you and bring a teacher to help you understand what you are reading. But I think she's just afraid you'll mess up the books and scrolls. Books and scrolls are hard to get for an orphanage, you know." "I'll take care of them, I promise," Amaterasu said quickly. "Very well then, I'll hold you to the promise." The old man then bent down and whispered to Amaterasu as if phrasing a question. "I heard you are Naruto's friend." Amaterasu nodded as Naruto looked shyly at him. "He is my friend." "Ah, good good." The old man nodded in satisfaction. "You seem mature for your age. Take care of Naruto for me, will you?" "I will," Amaterasu promised, feeling that somehow she had passed a test. 3 years later, Amaterasu, "Hurry, I think the show's starting," Naruto whispered as they creep around the walls of the orphanage. Today was their birthdays. Amaterasu's thought drifted to the date of another of her birthday and quickly shook her head. The past was the past. It was Naruto who had suggested that they sneak outside to look at the annual festival, one which the children at the orphanage were never allowed to join. The festival was one that celebrated the defeat of the Kyuubi, a nine-tailed fox demon of immense powers. The fourth Hokage was the one that had used his life to defeat it. Amaterasu still remembered how the matron had told them the story while showing them hand-drawn pictures of the fourth Hokage who had looked very familiar. "Naruto, maybe we shouldn't," Amaterasu said, trying to be the sensible one. They were 7 years old, any kind of trouble could come upon them in the middle of the night in strange streets. "Come on Amaterasu, we've never been to a festival before. Matron brought the other kids to them last year but not us," Naruto pleaded. Amaterasu paused. It was true, though the fact was that the matron had refused to bring Naruto to the festival and Amaterasu had elected to stay behind with her friend. It was also part of the reason why Amaterasu was worried about venturing to the festival with no adults around to protect them. Somehow there was something about Naruto that most of the adults seemed to hate, though Amaterasu could never understand why. And the matron, though no longer hating Naruto, had seemed worried about bringing him along. Naruto was a hyper but polite child and not born with vindictive tendencies as some of the children in the orphanage seemed to be. That's why Amaterasu had stuck with Naruto throughout these years. In fact, they had exchanged a ceremony under the willow tree behind the orphanage during their 6th birthday. To Naruto, they were now blood siblings. "Alright, but let's be careful, okay? Naruto, wait for me," Amaterasu shouted as she hurried after her sworn brother. The festival was unlike any others that they had ever seen. There were lots of people and stalls selling food and wares. There were also a lot of traveling ninjas doing all kinds of stunt. Naruto and Amaterasu pushed through the crowds looking at everyone and everything in awe. "This is great. We should come out again next year," Naruto said as they found a spot on a fence and sat on it. Amaterasu narrowed her eyes as she saw the odd looks some of the villagers were sending them. But since they didn't bother the two of them, she put them out of her mind. They stood on the fence watching some wandering ninjas perform at the village square. Amaterasu was amazed at all the stuff that they could do. The people of this world sure was amazing. Naruto and Amaterasu stood on the fence watching the performance for hours. It was after they decided to slip back to the orphanage that Amaterasu realized something was wrong. Her wolf-like ears went up to everyone else see her this just think it was her hair styled to be like wolf ears. They were walking through a secluded part of the town when sounds of running feet and shouts sounded behind them. Amaterasu's wolf sense started going off and she grabbed Naruto's arm and started running. "Amaterasu, why are we running?" Naruto gasped as Amaterasu pulled Naruto along with him. "Something is wrong, I can feel it," Amaterasu said without pause. Naruto gulped and put more speed in his legs. He trusted Amaterasu's instincts. After all the years of being with her, Naruto knew that Amaterasu would always had a sixth sense when something bad was about to happen. There he is. That's the fox bastard. Someone cried as a mob of angry and drunk villagers came into view behind them. Demon! Someone shrieked. Amaterasu grabbed Naruto and ducked to the side as a glass bottle of alcohol smashed into the road beside them. He's with another brat. They're together. Demons in cohort. Get them. The man leading the mob cried. Naruto and Amaterasu gasped as they tried to run away. Amaterasu might have been able to escape, but Naruto, being a 7-year-old, lacked the strength and stamina to outdistance the mob for long. Naruto gave a cry as something smashed into his back with force and he fell to the ground. Down. Get him! Someone cried as the mob charged forward. Amaterasu grimly placed herself in front of Naruto. She didn't know what was going on, but she had to buy time for Naruto to escape. Naruto, get up quickly. We have to run. She didn't have time to continue as the mob smashed into her with wooden clubs and wine bottles. Amaterasu fought them off with cold efficiency. Throughout the years, her goddess-like strength had grown, though she was still not as strong. She had the punching power of a 16-year-old, though that was not doing much good against a mob of angry villagers. Her only saving grace was her agility, but even then, she was knocked backwards by heavy blows. Naruto cried out in pain behind him. A large portion of the mob had swarmed over to Naruto, kicking and punching him. Amaterasu felt sick in her stomach. How could the villagers do this? They were just children. Get off Naruto! Amaterasu shouted in rage as everything went red. She had never felt so helpless and angry before. Get off him! Amaterasu pushed at the villagers with all her might, sending a few to the ground at her sudden increase in strength. One of them raised a glass bottle menacingly to smash down at her. Amaterasu instinctively stretched out her hand in a vain attempt to block it. Clang! Amaterasu blinked at the sound of the shield that had sun-like flames around it appeared right before her eyes. The man stumbled. Amaterasu drew back her hands as the shield followed her movement. Amaterasu looked grimly at her attackers. At least now she has a weapon against the mob. Amaterasu threw her shield at the legs of several of the villagers, sending them tumbling down. She then proceeded to pull or hitting the rest of the villagers from Naruto with her shield. Her wolf senses screamed and Amaterasu quickly twisted around, but not before something heavy slammed into her. Amaterasu crashed into the ground with a painful cry as one of the villagers landed on top of her and held her down onto the ground. You're with the fox demon. Your life ends here, the man said with a maniac look in his eyes. Amaterasu could smell the alcohol in his breath. She gasped as the man formed a handseal and slammed his hand into Amaterasu's chest. All the strength immediately left her body as she lay on the ground paralyzed. Amaterasu could only watch numbly as the man pinned her down with one hand, a knife in another. To her left, her heard Naruto screaming in agony. With what little strength left, Amaterasu turned her head. Through an opening in the mob, Amaterasu saw Naruto's pale bleeding face as a knife slashed down at him. It was happening again. She felt like she was going to die, and this time Naruto's going to die with her. But she refused to go down without a fight. She refused to die like a helpless little kid. Something burst inside her, an emotion dark and shimmering with anger, a rage that seared through her. Then there was a voice. Do you wish for power, goddess of the sun? It was a voice gentle yet at the same time terrifying, and this voice sounded in her mind. Amaterasu had no strength to speak, but there were other ways of conveying her emotions. I wish to live. Give me the power to protect my friends, Amaterasu screamed in her mind. Time seemed to slow down as Amaterasu watched the ninja on top of her slashing down with his knife. She knew that she was going to die, yet her human nature still allowed for hope. Hope that somehow, someone would answer her prayers and save them. Then I grant you your wish, Amaterasu, goddess of the sun, the voice said. Amaterasu felt the knife piercing her chest, and then, boom. Something large and white and red appeared behind the ninja and swept him off Amaterasu. It then proceeds to lay waste to the rest of the mob. When the military police arrived at the scene, they found several severely injured villagers and ninjas scattered on the streets, 2 young children that were bleeding to death, and a giant dragon that was white and red that seemed to have some of its body in a scroll painting while holding 4 different color orbs standing watch over them. Sarutobi, the third Hokage, was trembling with barely restrained rage. He had just thrown several villagers into jail and stripped one Chunin of his rank before sending him to the Anbu to be punished. The visit to the hospital after that had confirmed his fears as he had watched the doctors rushing to patch up the two heavily injured young boy and girl. He had then returned to his office, unable to do much else but to prepare for the meeting of council that was to come. Someone knocked on his door. His secretary entered, a Chunin who had requested a desk job. "Hokage-sama," his secretary said. Fugaku Uchiha had ordered an emergency clan heads meeting. "Damn those bloody Uchihas." Sarutobi groaned. This was the worst part about being a Hokage. The political maneuvering of some of the larger clans sickened him, and he had a feeling he knew why the emergency meeting was called. It couldn't be because the two young children were attacked. Not many of the clan heads would bother meeting up to discuss some random violence. Rather, it's what happened during the attack that would concern the council. In a rare event of unity, the clan leaders were assembled in the clan hall by the time Sarutobi arrived. The third Hokage looked around coolly. Fugaku was probably the one who had gathered everyone on such short notice. After all, the military police were the ones who had found Amaterasu and Naruto first, and the military police was made up mostly of the Uchihas. Sarutobi glanced around the council grimly as he sat down at his seat, which was at the head of the table. "Why is this council called?" Sarutobi asked, a rhetorical question as he already suspected the answer. Fugaku cleared his throat. "It has come to the clan chief's attention that a new bloodline has emerged in Konoha. All the clan chiefs are gathered here today to address this issue." Sarutobi's lips pressed together grimly. Apparently a new bloodline was more important than the fact that two children were seriously hurt by a mob tonight. Sarutobi's lips pressed together grimly. Apparently, a new bloodline was more important than the fact that two children were seriously hurt by a mob tonight. Yes, it is true. Amaterasu Okami in the orphanage was diagnosed by the head doctor at the hospital of having a bloodline that is closely tied to the wolves, and giving young Amaterasu an unknown source of power almost seemed godly, in summoning S-rank weapons. Sarutobi said. There was no use hiding this fact. The results would be widely known by tomorrow. All bloodlines in Konoha had to be registered publicly. A wolf's bloodline then? The head of the Aburame house mused. Where is the girl in question? She's still under treatment in the hospital for her injuries, Sarutobi said. I've heard that a Chunin instigated an attack on the girl and Uzumaki Naruto. Has the Chunin in question been punished? Shikaku Nara asked. Sarutobi nodded to the man in question with a tense smile. Out of the gathered clans in Konoha, the Naras, Yamanakas and Akamichis were some of the few clans that do not actively bear bad feelings for the demon container. They had their casualties during the Kyuubi attack, but the Naras are a family of thinkers and they knew better than to place blame on a boy innocent of any wrongdoings. The Yamanakas and Akamichis followed the Naras' example. He has been stripped of his rank and sent to the Anbu for questioning. I see. The Aburame clan head said. What are young Amaterasu Okami's powers in question? According to the tests, Amaterasu Okami possesses enhanced speed, strength, and senses along with the ability to emit a weapon out of flames-like substance. She will heal faster than the average human, and there might still be other unknown abilities we have not learned of, Sarutobi said. She also possesses an innate summon for the dragons. There was silence as the clan heads stared at him. There has not been a case of a person possessing the ability to summon without signing a counter, head of the Inazaka clan said in a strained voice. And I've never heard of a summons for dragons. As you're all aware, the current summoning contracts all over the world always began with one person who was somehow given the ability to summon their own particular creature. No one really knows why the first summoners were able to do what they did, Sarutobi said. I think you're all well aware that Amaterasu Okami might be the first summoner for the dragons, and only she can say who she would pass the contract to. Well, that's well and good, Hokage-sama, but let's move on to the important thing. Fugaku cut in. According to the public records, Amaterasu Okami is the lone survivor of her family, the rest were wiped out 8 years ago in the Kyuubi attack. Seeing that her's a bloodline wielder, the law states that. I am aware of the law, Fugaku, Sarutobi said with a frown. I was the one that created the law on bloodline wielders. Then you're aware that since she's the only survivor of her bloodline and also a minor who cannot fend for herself, special care must be taken for her survival," Fugaku said. "On behalf of the Uchiha clan, I would like to take her in as a member of my clan." Sarutobi's eyes narrowed. He knew it would come to this. The Uchihas had a thirst for power and would not settle for second best. Now that a new bloodline had emerged together with a new summoning contract, it would be in each of the clan's interest to take in the child, and hopefully marry the child in within their clans. "I object," the head of the Inuzuka clan said. "Seeing that the child's abilities are of an wolf-type bloodline, it would be prudent to leave that child in the care of the Inuzuka clan where we could provide more understanding for her powers. The Uchihas would be able to provide for the girl better. We know thousands of jutsus." Sarutobi tuned out the rest of the conversation as the rest of the clan heads began joining in the arguments, the only ones standing. Neutral were the Aburame, Nara, Yamanaka and Akamichi clan heads. There was a knock on the door and the archivist in charge of the Konoha's public records came in. He made his way to the Hokage, passing him a piece of paper before leaving the room. Looking at the newly gathered information, Sarutobi smiled. "It seemed that I found a way to resolve this problem," Sarutobi said. The clan heads paused in their arguments, turning to him. "Do all of you agree that Amaterasu Okami should be taken in by one of the clans instead of surviving in the orphanage?" "Of course, Hokage-sama. We can't have a repeat of what happened today. This girl contains a new bloodline and a new summon, she must be protected," Fugaku said. Before another word can be said, 8 different individuals appeared out of nowhere, shocking Sarutobi and all the clan heads. The Anbu that were in the council room were knocked unconscious, once the 8 different individuals revealed themselves. What these 8 have in common? That they're all wearing dog Anbu mask. Along with headbands tied on their left bicep in 8 different colors: purple, yellow, orange, pink, green, dark blue, sky blue, and red, all having with the kanji of canine on them, but along with 8 different kanji of attentiveness, courtesy, obedience, knowledge, faith, duty, loyalty, and justice. Looking around the council room and see all the clan heads and the Hokage got ready for a fight. The oldest of the 8 individuals that has seen many battles stepped forward. He was wearing the orange headband on his left bicep with the kanji of canine obedience on it, and said in deep commanding voice, "Sorry for the inconvenience, but I must intrude that you hand over Amaterasu Okami." Sarutobi tense when he heard the mask individual asking that they hand over young Amaterasu Okami. "Why would we do that?" Sarutobi said, getting ready for a fight. As the mask individual sighed and said in a calm but still commanding voice, "You see, that young Amaterasu Okami is the heiress of the Okami clan that we the canines have been serving for many generations, and she is the last of her clan after the death of her mother, Amatsu Kami, in the last battle against the evil Orochi, who ended up being sealed away by Amatsu Kami, but she did not come unscathed. Amatsu Kami had suffered a fatal blow from Orochi, killing her once she had sealed Orochi away in his stone prison. By doing this, Amatsu Kami ended up sending her only child somewhere safe where none of Orochi's followers may harm the child, and we believed Amatsu Kami sent her daughter here in your village. It's only until a few hours ago we were managed to find her due to young Amaterasu using one of the 13 gods of the celestial brush techniques, or what you say are summoning." 13, Fugaku said in shock. "Yes, 13. The one that Amaterasu managed to summon was Yamagami, the dragon of rejuvenation, or he represents the dragon in the East Asia zodiac. It's due to her bloodline that Amaterasu can summon all 13 gods of the celestial brush and her weapons," the mask individual said as he looked at everyone in the room. Everyone in the council room had a look of shock on their faces, knowing that Amaterasu Okami is an heiress of the most powerful Okami clan that have unique bloodline, but shocked most of the council members that a ninja of their village almost killed the heiress of the Okami clan. The mask individual sighed and said in a calm but still commanding voice, "Do not worry, we don't hold the village responsible for the actions of one man alone. Said man is punished for his actions against the heiress of the Okami clan and her friend. We the canine warriors will not attack your village, but if any harm comes to the heiress and her companion again, just say that this village will no longer exist," the mask individual said in a calm and deadly tone that sent chills down their spines. 6 days later, Amaterasu-chan, Amaterasu-chan, wake up. Let me sleep. Amaterasu groaned as someone began shaking her. Oji-san. Naruto's voice called out. Why is Amaterasu-chan like that? She's been sleeping for days. Naruto, most people heal much slower than you do. Sarutobi's voice said. Amaterasu is already healing faster than normal people. You mean we're special? Naruto asked. Amaterasu snatched the pillow under her head and threw it in the direction of Naruto's voice. Oomph! Naruto cried out. I can't sleep with you chatting here, Amaterasu complained as she got up. I swear you come here every morning just to annoy me. Naru-kun. That's because you're still in the hospital, Ama-chan. I got well on my second day here. Naruto whined. But it's your sixth day already and you still have to stay here. The orphanage is very boring without you. Amaterasu sighed, understanding Naruto's feelings. Though no one had dared to treat Naruto badly at the orphanage anymore, they had the tendency to give him a wide berth, leaving him to his own devices. While I am trying my best to recover Naru-kun, Amaterasu said, turning to the Hokage. Hokage-sama, can I leave the hospital today? The wound is almost healed now. Amaterasu said, tapping the knife wound on her chest. Well, it just happened that I had a talk with the doctor just now. You'll most probably be allowed to leave if there are no unforeseen problems, Sarutobi said with a smile. He gave a sigh as his face changed. But there are some things that we need to talk about. Naruto, you remember those men with the dog mask who came with us to the hospital? They should be talking to the doctor. Get them here, alright? Alright, Oji-san, Naruto said cheerfully as he ran out of the room. Amaterasu observed the Hokage with a sinking feeling. Something about the look on the old man's face made her weary. Is it about the villagers? I already said, Naruto, and I did nothing to provoke them, and I am really sorry about hurting them. Even though I don't remember summoning the dragon you told me about. Amaterasu said in a rush, finishing off her words hotly. And they do deserve what they get for hurting me and Naru-kun. Now Amaterasu, calm the villagers, though I've seen to it that the people responsible are punished. Sarutobi reassured. But the emergence of your unique abilities must be carefully cultivated. Ah, Canine-san. You're here, that's good. A man wearing a dog Anbu mask, wearing an orange headband on his left bicep with the kanji of canine obedience on it. He looked to be in his early 30s. Walked into the room with Naruto trailing behind curiously. Hokage-sama, I assume this is Amaterasu Okami. The masked man said while looking at Amaterasu. Amaterasu corrected, turning back to look at the Hokage anxiously. So what is it that you want to tell me? The Hokage gave Naruto a look and coughed uncomfortably, then met Amaterasu's eyes. Konoha is a village of ninjas, as such we look upon people with bloodline limits as the treasures of Konoha. Hokage began, though from his solemn tone, Amaterasu knew that the news was not going to be anything good. Amaterasu, you have an unique bloodline limit, added with the fact that you are the first summoner of the 13 gods of the celestial brush. The council had agreed to put you under the protection of ninjas who are capable of looking after you. Canine-san is from a group of ninjas that have been serving the Okami clan for many generations, by the decree of the village council. From today onwards, you'll be living with him and the others in the new Okami clan compound. Naruto paled at the news while Amaterasu just stared at the Hokage in dread. Don't worry, Amaterasu. Canine began saying. The canine warriors has already agreed on this, you'll be safe. Amaterasu looked at Naruto, who was unusually quiet at the news. His eyes were downcast, staring at the floor. No, Amaterasu said loudly, causing Naruto to look at her shock. I am not leaving Naruto-kun behind at the orphanage. We are sworn brother and sister now, and I am not going to go somewhere else and leave him alone. There was a light twinkling in the Hokage's eyes, though he said seriously. I understand your concern, but unfortunately, your adoption is by the mandate of the council. It cannot be lightly put aside. Then I'll run away, Amaterasu said with a huff. I am not leaving Naruto-kun behind. There's no need of that. My lady, you're the heiress of the Okami clan if you chose to wish it. Young Naruto may join your clan and we the canine warriors would gladly be happy to teach Naruto the ways of the warrior. Canine-san, are you sure? Hokage asked with a start. Yes, Hokage-sama, if Lady Okami wishes it, it shall be done. K9 told the Hokage, rubbing his mask tiredly. He turned to face Amaterasu and Naruto. Well, let's get Lady Amaterasu out of the hospital and I'll bring the two of you to meet the family. You really mean it? You're taking both of us? Naruto asked, his eyes shining with unshed tears. I don't go back on my word, K9 said seriously. Now, let's see about getting you two some new clothes. Naruto and Amaterasu looked at the rest of the K9 warriors with awe in their eyes. The warrior who had an orange headband on his left bicep with the kanji of K9 obedience on it had brought the two of them home, their new home, and told the rest of the warriors that young Naruto is going to be a warrior in training and he's Lady Amaterasu Okami's sworn brother, so they must treat him like family. All the warriors bowed their heads and said in the same time, "Welcome home Lady Amaterasu and Sir Naruto to the Okami family." Both Naruto and Amaterasu smiled as they both started to cry tears of joy as they were engulfed in a group hug. I'm sorry, but we don't know your names, Amaterasu said as she looks away shyly. It's quite alright my lady, I'm Tae, the one with the orange headband on his left bicep with the kanji of K9 obedience on it said in a cheerful tone. I'm Rei, the one with the yellow headband on his left bicep with the kanji of K9 attentiveness on it said proudly. I'm Shin, the one with the green headband on his left bicep with the kanji of K9 courtesy on it said in a lazy tone. I'm Gi, nice to meet you too, the one with the dark blue headband on his left bicep with the kanji of K9 knowledge on it said in cheerful tone. I'm Chu, the one with the sky blue headband on his left bicep with the kanji of K9 justice on it said in very happy tone. I'm Ume, the one with the red headband on his left bicep with the kanji of K9 loyalty on it said with a wave of his hand. I'm Ko, the one with the purple headband on his left bicep with the kanji of K9 duty on it said in a bored tone. I'm Kai, the one with the pink headband on her left bicep with the kanji of K9 faith on it said with a bow. Well my lady Amaterasu and Sir Naruto, may be showing you too, to the bathhouse. While the rest of us go and dinner ready. Tai said as Ume came walking up to the two children and showing them to the bathhouse. This is the bathhouse. Ume said pausing outside the structure in question. You can clean up here. Wow, your own bathhouse. This is so nice, the boy called Naruto said excitedly, rushing inside with his new clothes. Amaterasu gave Ume a nod and smiled. Thank you, as she followed after Naruto. Ume looked as the door shut behind them and pondered. That Naruto kid is just too loud and excitable. Living with him would probably be a headache for Ko and Shin. But Amaterasu on the other hand seemed the total opposite of Naruto, calm and mature. Ume wondered thoughtfully if she knew how to play mahjong. Tai, what are we going to do? The villagers will do anything to get Lady Amaterasu to bend to their will, Kai hissed. And let's not forget what they almost have done to both Lady Amaterasu and Sir Naruto. Tai took off his mask and showed his face that had been scarred from all his battles as a canine warrior and serving the Okami clan for many generations. Rubbed his eyes tiredly. I know Kai, and we won't let these power-hungry fools get their hands on our lady. We must keep her and Naruto safe. It is our duty. Tai said as he looked at the other warriors. We won't fail our task, do you understand? Tai yelled as everyone all said, Hide Tai. Sama. Skip 4 mods. That's it my lady Amaterasu and Naruto-kun. Tai said as he dodged the swing of both Amaterasu and Naruto's swords. It only been 4 months since both Naruto and Amaterasu moved into the Okami clan compound. Only a few days later as they began their training as ninjas and along with Naruto training to be a canine warrior. To say that the villagers weren't too happy to know that the demon was taken by the Okami clan. Only a few days after when both Naruto and Amaterasu moved in, there are a few attacks that went one near the Okami clan compound. Those brave enough had attacked, trying to finish the Yondaime's work. Let's just say the hospital is quite busy after that little incident. Alright you two, let's call it a day. Tai said as both Naruto and Amaterasu were panting for air. You two really have improved, and it's only been 4 months from what I and the others have seen your skills in ninjutsu, taijutsu, kenjutsu, genjutsu, and fuinjutsu or high genin to low chunin. But if you keep training I have no doubt you two will become the strongest shinobi and kunoichi out there. And I do believe that you too will surpass the 7 swordsmen of the mist in the nearby future. Tai said with a smile, making the two children smile only to help motivate the two to keep training and growing. Time skip as a small, adorable white-haired girl entered the classroom. Alongside her was her sworn brother Naruto Uzumaki Okami, who is well known as the pranking king of hell and first kitsune warrior. Naruto wasn't the very hyperactive, he was calm and collect, due to his immense training under the canine warriors that could change a child. While his sister Amaterasu Okami became a true beauty. People even call her a goddess. The room fell dead silent. Everyone's eyes turned them and whispers started chanting as Amaterasu and Naruto calmly walked up to their seat. The boys tried to approach, Amaterasu only to back at them. While the girls glared at Amaterasu as they watched her hair blow lightly when she walked alongside Naruto, who stood by her side like a knight in shining armor. It was no secret that they envied Amaterasu. They wanted to be her. They wanted the status she had. The teachers respected Amaterasu Okami. The Hokage respected her and her clan. Heck, even Sasuke, the mysterious boy who didn't socialize with anyone, somehow managed to have a soft spot for her, and even Naruto. They always watched how freely he spoke with them, and it made them furious. Furious that a common girl like Amaterasu could actually make him speak willingly when they couldn't. As Amaterasu and Naruto sat down, Sasuke looked to his right so he could see both of his friends and his rival for Amaterasu's heart. "Good morning, Amaterasu-chan." Naruto. Sasuke greeted them with a nod, which they both returned. Iruka, who looked up at the academy students, holding a list containing all of their names. "We will now start to the final exam. When your name is called, please proceed to the testing room. The final test will be on the clone jutsu." When the words left his lips, normally Naruto would be freaking out by now, but after going under training by Tai and the other canine warriors allowed him to use the Shadow Clone Jutsu and many more clone jutsus. First up, Amaterasu Okami. Iruka read from his clipboard. The said girl nodded and got up from her seat. She said her goodbyes as she got wished good luck before walking into the room where she hopefully soon would graduate. As soon as she had stepped inside, she noticed Mizuki and Iruka sat and watched her every move carefully. "It's so nice to finally meet you, Amaterasu Okami. I've been hearing pleasant things about you from Iruka." The pale-haired ninja, Mizuki, spoke with a smile on his lips. It made the young girl shift in discomfort as her wolf ears were laying down flat on her head as she felt like his eyes drilled into her soul, but managed to plaster a polite smile on her lips. "The pleasure is all mine." Iruka had high expectations for the young girl, but he couldn't treat her any different from the rest of them. "Amaterasu, you know what's required of you. Perform the transformation jutsu," said the Iruka. I gave a nod and did a hand sign, and in a proof of smoke, and she had transformed into one of her many teachers. Kai. She, the one with the pink headband on her left bicep with the kanji of canine faith on it, said with a bow. The judges were impressed by how easy Amaterasu performed the transformation and how identical the Kai of the canine warrior that's standing in front of them. Amaterasu to undo the jutsu, and with another proof of smoke she was standing in front of them again. "Very good, Amaterasu. Now the next test will be the shunshin with the chair by the corner of the room. If you knew the jutsu." Before the Iruka could finish, Amaterasu was gone, and in my place was the chair that was the corner of the room, and as they look across the room was Amaterasu leaning against the wall. "Very impressive, Amaterasu. No, for the last test will clone jutsu," said. Channeling her chakra through a ram hand sign, her body was engulfed in smoke, and right beside her stood 3 girls with the exact same features as her. Her face instantly lit up in a grin, knowing she had made 3 clones. Iruka felt a sudden proudness take over as he watched her look at the clones she had made with a grin. He got a feeling that she would become something big someday as he handed her a leaf headband, which she gladly took and walked out of the classroom. Not long after her exit, Sasuke came out, wearing the same headband. As soon as he spotted her, he walked up to her, his hands stuffed in his pockets and a stoic expression on his face. Amaterasu sent him a bright smile. "You passed? That's great." Sasuke's lips curled up in a cocky smirk as he looked at his female friend. "So did you. So it seems. Well, let's do our best." She wrapped an arm around his waist, receiving no reaction as she did so. "Well, see you tomorrow, Sasuke." Amaterasu said as she waited for Naruto to come out of the academy, praying to all 13 gods of the celestial brush that her swore brother pass the exam. Naruto paused. Okay Naruto, it's your turn, so could you please go into the next classroom down the hall, said Iruka. I nodded and got up, went to the next classroom. I saw Mizuki and Iruka sat there and watched my every move carefully. And Naruto, just stand in front of us please and we will begin the test, said Iruka. I gave a nod and went to stand in front of them. Okay, you have to perform 3 different jutsus for us and we will judging by your performance and how much control you over each one, and at the end to gain extra credit you can perform any ninjutsu you may know, said the Iruka. Okay, first perform a transformation jutsu, said the Iruka. I gave a nod and did a hand sign and in a proof of smoke and I had transformed into my teacher Tai of the Canine Warrior. The judges were impressed by how easy Naruto performed the transformation and how identical the Tai of the Canine Warrior that standing in front of them. I to undo the jutsu and with another proof of smoke I was standing in front of them again. Very good Naruto. Now the next test will be the shunshin with the chair by the corner of the room. If you knew the jutsu, before the Iruka could finish I was gone and in my place was the chair that was the corner of the room, and as they look across the room I was leaning against the wall. Very impressive Naruto. No, for the last test will clone jutsu, said the Jonin. Could I perform any clone, said I for the first time since I has entered room. I'm sure as long as it is a clone of you, said the Iruka. Shadow clone jutsu, as I finished in a proof of smoke 2 of me appear. Congratulations, you pass with flying colors Naruto, Iruka said with a proud smile on his face. Naruto, you can go and pick up a headband, said Iruka. Naruto went and took one of the headband off the table and put it around his right arm and left the academy. To only smiled to see Amaterasu waiting outside for me. She smiled as ran up to me and tackled hugged me. Key world. Try. You pass Naru-kun, I am so happy. Amaterasu said with smile on her face. Ya come on, let's go home. A bet Kai is preparing a big feast to celebrate, I said as led Amaterasu back to the Okami clan compound. Later that night, Mizuki came to Naruto with what he made out to be a relatively harmless prank. Naruto, without Amaterasu or one of the canine warriors to help guide his pranks, fell for the trick. No matter how a person changes, some things never change. The moment Amaterasu overheard what Naruto had done, she immediately went to his side. You do realize you stirred up a dragon nest when you stole that? Naruto looked up from the scroll and realized Amaterasu happened to be there. Check this out. The first jutsu on the scroll is the shadow clone, the same one that canine warriors showed them. Amaterasu, who realized this was likely the only chance she would ever get to look at the scroll while a genin, decided to join in. It wasn't long until Amaterasu had a blank scroll and was copying down all the jutsus. It took Iruka an hour to find Naruto, and Amaterasu had hidden herself. It was unlikely the Chunin would realize she was there, or that they had a whole copy of the scroll. Amaterasu was shocked to learn that Naruto was the container for the Kyuubi. Fortunately, Naruto didn't believe for a minute that he was alone. He always had Amaterasu to back him up, or help him get out of trouble. Naruto bolted, with Amaterasu right behind him. Amaterasu was beyond livid at the way Mizuki treated her friend. It was clear that the man was a traitor. She knew she could sick her entire set of 13 gods of the celestial brush without fearing Tei's lecture. The fact that she hated Mizuki was only a bonus. Naruto finally paused, and the two listened in to the conversation between instructors. Amaterasu was thrilled to hear that the one instructor she didn't actively dislike not only cared, ably viewed him as a fellow ninja. Which was why the minute the two finally revealed their presence, Iruka was surprised that Amaterasu had been there the entire time. Amaterasu was more than happy to let loose all 13 gods of the celestial brush on Mizuki. Iruka was shocked to learn that Amaterasu not only had 13 gods of the celestial brush to kill her enemies, but she also had a few that healed. Once Amaterasu was done with Mizuki, Naruto finished him off with a ridiculous amount of clones. Are you alright, Iruka-sensei? Asked Amaterasu. How long have you been here? I arrived 50 minutes before you did. I heard everything. Iruka didn't look happy about that. Then Amaterasu decided to trust the man as much as Naruto clearly did. Then again, we are sworn brother and sister now, and I am not going to go somewhere else and leave him alone? Iruka smiled and told them that he would take them both out to ramen, once someone picked Mizuki up. The two siblings looked at each other and snickered. Iruka shot them a look. "What did you do?" he asked. Amaterasu tossed Iruka a wallet. It looked familiar. Then he realized who it belonged to. "You two were the ones who stole his wallet?" "Iruka-sensei, you're the only teacher in that school whose wallet I haven't stolen," said Amaterasu deadpanning. Suddenly all the complaints by his fellow teachers about losing their wallets made absolute sense. And why he was the only person who hadn't suffered the problem of finding it later with no cash left in it. "You see, Iruka-sensei, whenever one of the teachers had been particularly cruel or mean to Naruto, I stole their wallet. I had hoped they would take the hint to leave Naruto alone, but unfortunately, none of them ever got the message." "Yeah, and I couldn't very well say anything because then they would think I did it," said Naruto. The next day when the class had settled down, he started speaking again. "First of all, congratulations to all of you. Starting today you are all official ninjas. The results for the Genin exam are here. Top 1. Amaterasu. Okami." Iruka said in shock, so was the rest of the class. Amaterasu just smiled while Naruto was chuckling in seeing their shocked faces. Let us continued. Iruka said top 2. Sasuke Uchiha. Top 3. Shikamaru Nara. Wait, Iruka-sensei. There's no way that Amaterasu Baka could get top 1, screeched Sakura, making Amaterasu whimper due to the volume of her voice. Naruto just glared at Sakura while comforting his sister. Iruka just nodded his head with a smile. "Alright, let's get to the team assignments. So here is how this is going to work. You will be assigned to a 3-man team headed by a Junin sensei to form a 4-man cell. Now listen up, I'll start by calling out the names." Everyone became silent, eyes twinkling. Amaterasu could feel some male kids glancing over at her. Amaterasu shivered at that. "Sorry kids, but we won't be on the same team," Amaterasu thought with a grin. Team 1 will be, both Amaterasu and Naruto zone out, not really caring for teams 1 through 6. Only for her attention to be brought back when she heard Iruka say Team 7. Team 7 will be, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto didn't show any reaction. Sakura Haruno. Sakura scowled, glaring at the blonde. Sasuke Uchiha. Sakura's expression shifted into a happy smile. And Amaterasu Okami. Sasuke silently threw a glance at Amaterasu, while Naruto hugged his sister, smiling that they were on the same team. Team 8 will be Shino Aburame. Shino merely blinked. Hinata Hyuga. And Kiba Inuzuka. Kiba let out a sheepish groan. Team 10 will be Ino Yamanaka. Choji Akamichi. Choji crammed his chips into his mouth. And Shikamaru Nara. Shikamaru sighed lazily. Amaterasu didn't really hear more because her eyes found the window again, and she let out a small yawn, signaling her tiredness, as she lay her head on Naruto's shoulder as her eyes closed. Iruka stopped for a moment to look at the white kunoichi, who was sleeping soundly on Naruto's shoulder. With a faint smile, he cleared his throat and spoke again. "After lunch, you will all meet your new sensei, who will lead your squad. Until then, class is dismissed." The students all rushed out to eat with their teams, but for Team 7, it was a tad different than the rest. Sakura hopelessly looked for Sasuke, but he had already left to eat, while Naruto carefully carried his sister bridal style and jumped outside to eat the homemade lunch that Kai had made just for them. Time skip. After launch, Genins of Team 7 were only remaining in the classroom, waiting for their sensei to come. The room was silenced itself. Naruto was quietly sitting, reading some scrolls. While keeping an eye on his sleeping sister, Naruto smiled and seeing that Amaterasu was sleeping soundly next to him. Behind the siblings, Sasuke was seating motionlessly, his eyes fixed at Amaterasu's sleeping form in front of him. Sakura was watching Sasuke's every movement. "Hey Naruto." Sasuke finally broke the silence away. Sakura was alerted at this. Naruto put his scrolls down and turned back slowly without waking up Amaterasu. "What is it, Sasuke?" Sasuke shifted uncomfortably. Naruto was always a boy who tried to pick a fight with him. If Sasuke hadn't known better, he would have said that Naruto was giving off the same vibe as the elder Chunins or Junins. Naruto just smiled as he remembered what Tade told him about what happened to the Uchiha clan and asked, "How's that going for you? The whole 'I need to bear hatred to kill my brother' mantra? Gotten any stronger lately?" he asked while gently shaking his sister to wake up. "Naruto baka. How dare you speak to Sasuke like that?" Sakura sprang up, livid. Sasuke glared at Naruto. If it had been any other person who spoke out that words, then the person would surely have been crushed at the corner of this room already, nose bleeding. However, with Naruto speaking about it, Sasuke found himself strangely unarmed. A silence flew for a moment. Then Sasuke finally blurted out. He said that I had to cling to hatred in order to beat him. Hearing this, Amaterasu raised an eyebrow. That man just killed your entire kins. You're really going to trust what he says, or are you just that stupid? Amaterasu said as Naruto looked at Sasuke confused as he thought Sasuke was stupid or something. Sasuke blushed. I didn't think of it like that. Besides, you came at the very end of the massacre. Right? Naruto questioned. Yeah, said a confused Sasuke. So you don't really know why Itachi decided to kill your clan besides what he told you? Amaterasu explained. A perplexed look rose upon Sasuke's face. Smiling mildly, Amaterasu gave a quick squeeze on Sasuke's hand. Then before you go off trying to kill him, first try to find out what really had happened. Maybe you'll find out the truth. Naruto said while Amaterasu nodded her head in agreement. Sasuke thought it over for a moment. He blinked. But what about my power levels? You know, Naruto said. Maybe Tai can teach you. Even without hatred, you can be powerful. Tai told us if you truly want to become strong, you must protect those who are close to you or most precious to you. Naruto said while holding Amaterasu's hand. Sasuke blinked again, feeling a pleasant scent of aroma from Amaterasu. Strangely, he felt relaxed. Do you agree? Amaterasu whispered. Yes. Sasuke said almost in a whisper. Meanwhile, Sakura watched the three with an unbelievable expression on her face. How could Sasuke say yes at the dead last suggestion? No, Sakura could not let Amaterasu take Sasuke away from her. She had to do something. Unknown to them, the door slowly slid open, and when the door had opened wider, when they heard someone say, "Yo," they all turned around to see Kakashi. He gave them all a little wave. "You're late," screamed Sakura. "My first impression of you? I don't like you," he said, causing everyone in the room to sweat drop on the spot. The silver-haired man locked eyes with Amaterasu, who smiled politely at him, making her eyes curl up a bit, causing his heart to flutter. Slice how long he had been staring into her amber-colored eyes, but finally, he snapped out of it and blinked. "Meet me at the roof in 5 minutes. Kakashi poofed away, leaving the genin to get to the roof by themselves. Amaterasu looked at her teammates and sent a smile before speaking up. "Let's go." The 4 genins were now sitting on the roof and watched as Kakashi looked at them, and finally, after a long awkward silence, he decided to talk. "Why don't you introduce yourselves?" he suggested. "But what are we supposed to say?" Sakura asked, looking totally confused. "What you like, what you hate, your hobbies, and dreams for the future." When Sakura still seemed clueless, both Naruto and Amaterasu glared at Sakura, and she's supposed to be the smart one. Were the same thoughts of both Naruto and Amaterasu. "Why don't you go first, Kakashi-sensei? So we can see how it's done," Amaterasu said with a sweet smile. Kakashi tensed as he heard her voice. It was a soft, melodic voice that could make you go weak in your knees. The expression on her face matched her voice well. She wasn't one you'd guess was a kunoichi, but the fire in her eyes told otherwise. She was wearing a white battle-top kimono with a red high-waist skirt along with black legging stockings and her black shinobi sandals. She was also wearing a black scarf with a blood pattern trickled on the bottom and her forehead protector sewn onto the scarf itself. That was wrapped around her neck. Kakashi stared at Amaterasu, a faint blush forming under his mask, and nodded. "My name is Kakashi Hitaki. What do I like? What I don't like? I don't feel like telling you that. My hobbies? I have a lot of hobbies. My dreams for the future? Haven't really thought about that." Team 7 sweat dropped as they heard his poor introduction. Well, Naruto and Amaterasu just rolled their eyes when they heard that. "Okay, then I'll begin." Clearing her throat, Sakura began. "I'm Haruno Sakura. I like She glanced over at Uchiha and giggled. My hobbies are reading and shopping. My dream for the future is. She again glanced over at Uchiha and giggled again. Kami-sama, it's a fangirl. Thinking in dismay, Kakashi yawned. And your dislikes? Sakura pointed at Naruto, who was sitting next to Sasuke while Amaterasu was covering her ears in pain. Naruto baka and Ino. Pig. Naruto glared at Haruno bitch, for hurting his sister. Your next blondie. Kakashi said while pointing at Naruto. Naruto just glared at him and said. My name is Uzumaki Naruto. I like foxes, ramen, training with the canine warriors, gardening, my sister Amaterasu, and reading. I despise people who betray their friends, rapist, fangirls and fanboys, pervert, and pedophiles. My hobbies are learning from new scrolls, training, reading, gardening, practicing in my kenjutsu. My dream for the future is to become Hokage and keep my sister safe. You're next, emo. Kakashi said while pointing at Sasuke. Sasuke just glared at him and said, my name is Uchiha Sasuke. I like training in someone in particular. At the last sentence, he glanced at Amaterasu, who smiled slightly. Kakashi couldn't help but stare at the raven-haired boy, clearly noticing his glance at Amaterasu. I dislike weak idiots, fangirls, and my dream for the future is the resurrection of my clan. Kakashi cocked his head. Ho, so what about killing his own brother? Where did it go? Thought Kakashi. Slowly, moved his eyes onto Amaterasu. And you? My name is Amaterasu Okami. Her amber-colored eyes half closed as she spoke. I like my brother Naruto, wolves, ramen, training with the canine warriors, cooking, drawing, sewing, and reading. I despise people who betray their friends, rapist, fangirls and fanboys, pervert, and pedophiles. My hobbies are learning from new scrolls, training, reading, cooking, sewing, creating new techniques and jutsus, practicing in my kenjutsu, medical ninjutsu. My dream for the future is to have a big family and have a lot of children. Amaterasu said with a smile. Both Sasuke's and Kakashi's hearts fluttered when they heard that Amaterasu wanted a big family and having a lot of children. They both had the exact same thought. I'll give you as many babies as you want, Amaterasu. That's wonderful, Amaterasu, Kakashi said with a smile behind his mask. So now that we all know each other, let me brief you. Ahem, you all passed the genin exam, which means you all have the ability to be genins. Now you have to pass my genin exam to see if you are worthy of being genins. What do you mean, Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked. It means that I will give you your final genin exam. Tomorrow meet me at training ground 7 at 5 in the morning. I suggest you don't eat breakfast. Got that? Kakashi said. Yes. The four more or less chorused. Okay, then I will see you tomorrow. Waving at the four, the Junin turned and disappeared. Unknown to them that Kakashi was watching them in a nearby tree. Watching as Naruto and Amaterasu stood up and picking up their small bag, followed by Sasuke, who held his hand out for Amaterasu to take, making Kakashi's eyes narrow from where he was hiding as Amaterasu took it with a smile, while Naruto smiled as he held onto Amaterasu's another hand. Let's go, Amaterasu. Sasuke took Amaterasu's hand in his and started to walk away from Sakura, leaving her alone. Sakura looked at them in shock as a tear ran down her cheek. Sasuke-kun? While Kakashi walked home, his mind not leaving Amaterasu, he couldn't stop but think of her. Something about her made his guts churn around inside and his heart speeds up. The end. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next part.